Oh, hey everybody. Wow, I can finally sit down for a minute. Let's see. Let me make sure I have everything on. Tim Minnie's on. Oh, look, it's Christina Marie. Hi, T. That's my daughter. Can you hear me, T? Let's see. I can't see for crap. I am shot. Mikey had me up doing stuff. We're going to check on that stuff in a little bit. This is the first minute I got to sit down. I was almost ready for like a 7 o'clock or 7:30 thing. And then I moved the one stand with this boom that I put on. And the boom arm is for a microphone and light. And it's been kind of giving me trouble because it's kind of, you know, some of this stuff is cheap. Like it's not crap, it's just cheap. And it loosened up, so I took it off and I looked at it. And it's like a bracket, and it holds a mic and then a light at different levels. And it's mounted to a swivel, which is then screwed to a pipe, which is on a thing that goes up and down. Anyway, it broke. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's great. That's going to be a little bit more work. So I wound up adapting it and drilling it out and then putting new threads in, and I upscaled it to just a 1/4 fitting, whatever. So I had to do that. And Mikey was here. What's up, Mike? So we got a couple of things to cover. I got a bunch of cool stuff for you guys tonight, if I can keep my head together and don't make any mistakes. I just made one. I actually cut the audio in a little too late on the intro. That little intro thing that goes on. It's like the 90s sitcom type setup. Which is about right. That's about my era. Welcome to the 90s sitcom night over here at Arch's Garage. We're going to be replaying 80s and 90s sitcoms. This one up next. No, we're not doing that. No. Sorry. All right. That'll have to be like another show. All right. You guys like so lazy. I got to fix something real quick. Let me see if I can fix it. So there's only like, I think like only like 2 of you have signed up for the contest. And it's because you don't have my email address. And it's because you guys don't want to go over to my home page because you don't know what that means. So let me see. Let me put my email address. Can I edit the show notes? Yeah, description. All right. So upcoming more projects. And then I'm going to just type down SuperClean clean contest. Don't forget. And then I'll put my email address in. Yeah, this way you have it. And that will be in the description. And that should come up. Let's see. So click save. That should update. And then if I go over to my page here, I'm going to click on my page. Go to live. I should be able to. Who's the 2? Who's 2 what? Nova 2. Not the number 2. It's Nova, N-O-V-A, the number 2 at optonline.net. Okay, so, oh look, it says live. And there I am. All right, I'm not waving at you guys. I'm waving at me. Let's see. So let me just refresh this page. And I'm going to dump the audio on it so it doesn't accidentally feedback. Let's see. We'll go down to show more. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'll show you guys. I'm going to show you. So go to live scene setup. And I can go to display capture. Kill you. Okay. And you'll see it. That's us, right? That's me. That's us on the right. And when we come down, I scroll down a little bit. Might have to be show more or whatever, but this is the description area. And there I am. down there. There's the email address. So you can just look down there at any time. It will stay there. So that's cool. So I can actually edit the show description page and a few things sort of whilst running the whole show. It's always fun to learn, you know, about what you're doing when you don't know what you're doing. So we can kill this display capture over the ATEM, come back to here. Let's check the other camera. Yep, working over there. And I wanted to set up a camera on the table because I've got a whole bunch of stuff to show you guys. But the problem I have is, yes, I have 2 microphones, but I only have one good microphone, and that's plugged into the camera that's looking at me. And the other camera, the sort of cheaper camera, it doesn't really have a microphone input, so I can't plug another microphone. I have to use the onboard mic, which isn't terrible. And then, of course, the lighting, right? I only have one good light. Yeah, TJ, I'll look for it. I'll look for it later. I thought I saw one, but I haven't managed my inbox very well lately. But I will. I'll go through it. Also, I got to go through. I want to give a shout out to Zippo, in case he's watching at some point. I'll shout out to him again. Zippo sent me over a whole crap load of emails with PDF files for the SunStar. Simplicity SunStar that I'm working on. And also some tips and advice on how to fix the front end. Do a few things there. He told me something I didn't know. So that'll save me some effort because I know now how to fix at least one of the, like the main pin on the steering knuckle where everything sort of rotates around. Like he says you can just get the correct, you know, steel of that size and a good hard steel and cut it to length and shove it in there. So that's cool. So I've been kind of playing, what do they call that? Sort of almost like a round robin with Zippo. Zippo, I got the emails. So he sent me something. I didn't get it. I think he commented on one of my videos and he said check some area of YouTube when you have a YouTube channel for comments that are held. I checked that. There was nothing in there. Then I sent him an email. And I don't know if he got it. Then he sent me some emails, and he was wondering if I got it. But then I sent him another email anyway, and I guess he didn't get it. And so welcome to technology, right? That's why sometimes it's nice just to fool around with the machines, because this digital stuff just glitches like crazy. Maybe we just can't find it. Maybe it's going in his junk box or something. I don't know, but I want Zippo to know. And big shout out to him. Yes, I've got your stuff. Yes, I will be looking through it. Yes, I got the latest one, which is like a parts breakdown, parts list. I ordered some belts for it. They should be coming this week sometime. So again, SuperClean, fellas, lower 48. You're going to get the regular and the spray can spray foamy, which is one of my favorites. So you just have to be in the lower 48. I think you can do a P.O. box as long as your P.O. box can handle a package. You know, something like 2 of these and a little bit bigger with some packing in it. As long as there's a place, most P.O. boxes have room for bigger items to be set aside. And then, of course, your handle, you know, your full name and address or P.O. box, contact information. In the subject bar, yes, sign me up for like SuperClean contest or something like that. And then, of course, somewhere in there, your handle, like TJ space M. Hey, it's me. Yes, I want to join. Because some of you fellas write me stuff, but I don't know if you want to be in the contest. So, pretty cool stuff there. So, I'm just trying to, like, catch up to myself. So, yeah, Mike was here. We're going to go look at some of the cool stuff he brought. And I have some questions that people have asked me. So let me just go back to here. Let me show you what I'm doing. This way you can see, because there's no point in looking at me if you don't have to. Right. So let's see. Let's go to... Now, a couple of you fellas have asked me stuff, but there's one here, and I think it's nice sometimes just to say somebody's name. So, oh, that's not a very nice picture of that lady. Oh, I stopped in just the right moment. That's your advertisement. Is it Tech Ninja? Let's see. Let's see. So it was one of these guys, Christopher, maybe? Oh, yeah. He wants to know what acid I used. So this is Christopher Rasso. And I think there was somebody else. It could be on another video I posted. So let's just take a look at the acid that I use. So one of them, all right, let me just do one at a time before I get ahead of all of us. This one, I think it's Eastwood. We can get the Eastwood in, let's see, what do we call it in Eastwood? It's spray. Maybe spray etch. Spray etching primer. Let's see. Fast etch is what they call it. Hold on. Eastwood calls it fast etch. Yeah, fast etch Eastwood. Now these products are a little bit different, and I'll see if I can find the one. So one is in a spray bottle. It's also available at Walmart, but we'll just look at Amazon as well. You can go to eastwood.com. Now, Eastwood, it's this. See, they're calling this fast one step etch rust remover. It's a little bit different than the product that I usually use. This is an acid-based rust remover. Now, you can get it on your hands, but wear gloves. It's not going to, like, eat through stuff. It's very mild. And what it says here, so ideal for prep and painting and powder coating, leaves a zinc phosphate coating, promotes adhesion and prevents rust. Now, the zinc phosphate is nice because if you've ever used an acid, when you derust something and then you get it really clean like shiny metal, and of course this is water-based, right? So you're going to be rinsing. What happens is you get flash rust right away. Just the water in the air, especially if it's a humid day, you're going to get some kind of a flash rusting. The stuff that's in here, the zinc phosphate, it comes out of solution and lays on the metal, turns kind of white, and protects it. And it can stay like that for a really long time. You can wipe it off. You don't have to, but you can wipe it off with a thinner or something. And then, now the price went up. I got to get a bottle of this. And you can paint right over it. Now, most of the products that we use today in auto body are what they call a DTM, direct to metal. They actually have an acid like this in it. And that's part of the new technology for the way things are done today. Now, let me just see if I can go to Kirker. Fast etch. Fast etch on eBay. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to look for it. Yeah, well, this is the... Whoa. 53 bucks? Whoa. For a gallon? Ooh. What is this? It's the Eastwood one. It might be a different name. I might go take a look and see if I have the product bottle laying out. But I think you guys get the idea. All right. So that was one of the things. And so like with the last video I did on restoring that MTD, I think I used up the last little bit I had on that. And you can kind of see some of the white haze on it. You can cut it too with a little bit of water. Not much. If you put it in a spray bottle, you could probably cut it about 25% water, 20% water, add it to it. It'll weaken it a little bit, but that's okay. It still works good. And of course, you leave it full strength, and the more you put it on, it will remove rust. Pretty deep stuff. Now, when you go to use it, You need to clean the surface. So you want to scratch it up real good with some kind of wire wheel or something to get off any scaling. Then you want to clean it with, well, you want to get all the grease off, because acid won't work. If it's, you know, if there's any grease or oils anywhere on the substrate, the acid will sit on top. It won't eat in, and it won't work. So get it clean. Put that stuff on. Little Scotch-Brite. Maybe 2 applications, and when it's done, it'll actually convert some of the top layers to like a more neutral type of rust. So long as the rust doesn't come in contact with any more water or atmosphere or oxygen, right, it won't continue to rust. But this gets, you know, gets things real clean. I need a gallon of it. The Kirker product is probably down here. I'll go look for it when we play a video. So hopefully everybody is doing well. I've been real busy. No snow yet. Still. And then a little bit, actually we'll talk about some of it now. Let me just go grab these 2 things, because this is another question I had. It's like right over here. That's why I wanted another camera set up, so I don't have to get up off my lazy ass. My daughter brought me, what did she get me? Let's see. She got me something to eat so I can pick at it when I'm off camera. It's what's it called, T? What do we get? There's a word on here. I don't know what it says. It doesn't have anything in English. Let's check this out. Let me see. Look, if you use any tinfoil, it's like any thinner. It's like edible tinfoil. Ooh, what's that? It's no, oh yeah, no cilantro. Thank you. Thank you. Because that stuff is gross. I grew it one year and I gagged and threw it out. It was just so gross. So chain wax. So what is the difference? There's tape over it. Chain wax, chain lube. Right? Versus, now this is the coveted stuff, chain and cable lube from Liquid Wrench. This stuff here took me like 6 months to get because of the CVID and everything else. And also it could be whatever, you know, a lot of companies are on, they're like missing people. They need people. There's some areas, right? You know, either there's like skeleton crews, there's shortages of all kinds of products. There's probably something in this that they had a hard time getting. And if you look into something like how are jeans that are made, right, or shirts, particularly jeans, they come from all the parts. The process to make a pair of jeans super, you know, cheap is amazing, right? The stuff is grown in one part of the world, it's shipped to another part of the world to be loomed, then it's shipped to another part of the world where it's turned into like a jean type canvas, and then to get, if you want it with buttons, the buttons come from another part. Forget about it. If you want with zippers, that comes from another part of the world. All of this stuff has to come together. And when the, you know, that's globalism, okay? That's probably the good part of globalism, but that's part of globalism. And even though you might be able to make zippers up the block in a manufacturing facility, that just isn't happening, right? So if you are having a problem, whatever it is, in some countries, there's political issues, there's social issues, there's, in Europe, there's energy issues. Whatever it is, until that stuff is, you know, solved, you're not getting your stuff. So this stuff took me like 6 months. Now, you'd think Liquid Wrench, this has been around forever. We used to use Liquid Wrench when I was a kid. We used to play with the graphited stuff, and I was always using it. My friend Gerard, God rest his soul, his father had that stuff, and we were always playing with it and using it for stuff. Oh, you got to put Liquid Wrench on it. You know, you make it move. It needs Liquid Wrench. This is chain and cable lube. Anti-sling formula. So this stuff has more paraffin in it. So that's why they call it a chain wax. They're basically the same. I can't tell you if the liquid wrench variant has any additional emollients and vitamins in it. You know, I don't know. Probably, because it is a different formula. This will stay a little bit wetter. In fact, that's why they say cable lube. The cool thing about these is that they go on and in like a penetrant lube. You know, just like that. Very thin, sprays down under pressure. And for cables and things like that, or certain bearings, bushings, particularly things like I talk about this in some of these videos for the snow blowers, because a lot of the axle shafts have a bronze type bushing as a bearing for the main shaft. It's called oilite. That's one of its trade names. There is actually, when it's cast and machined, there's voids and oil is pushed into the bushing itself, and it stays for a really long time, so it really doesn't need a lot of lubrication. But this is nice because it creates a film, not quite like a dry lube, but in between, and then somewhere in between dry lube and wet oil or grease is this, because this is more like a grease. This is less like a grease, more like a grease, and closer to a hard, no, wrong word, a drier type of lube because of the wax. So, and I actually sprayed this on the body of the tractor, right, Simplicity SunStar. I went over to SunStar. It was very rusty, kind of like that Sears I was showing you guys last week. So I washed it, super cleaned it. I put that acid on it, on the body, on the, on the SunStar. I hit it with some Scotch-Brite, worked it, cleaned it off, and then I sprayed either chain wax, or CRC makes something very similar to Cosmoline, which is something they used to pack machine surfaces in and everything during the war, right? World War II. It's a very waxy, greasy substance. You know where else you see it? If you ever bought a pair of like new brake drums or brake rotors, it's got that slimy kind of sticky, right? That's similar to Cosmoline. It's a wax. It's very similar to chain wax. So the vehicles that are in these things allow it to come out, spray really light and thin, oily, go down deep, get it to where you want it, and then this one actually in about 15-20 minutes starts to dry up and wax up, and this one gets more like a jelly kind of grease, but thin. Bicycle chain, right? Any chain or cable, perfect. All right, so we covered that. Let's get to something fun. All right. So for some of you guys that were asking about that, so like I said, Mikey was here. This is in my way. I'm too lazy to get back up. I know those nozzle stem things are going to go flying. All right, I'll close this out. And like I said, I will. Ooh, I want to leave that open. That's $53. That is not bad. All right, so one of these is this one. I'll show you what Mike and I were up to. Some cool stuff. Let me set it up. Yeah, this is it. Let's see. So Mike and I just want to show you guys a picture of it first. We're hanging out. We brought over a surprise. Yeah. We set it up over here. All right. See if you can figure out what the heck this is. I think it's pretty cool. Thanks, Francis, and welcome. John, it's Jon, which is similar to my actual name is John. right? It's not Arch. The story of Arch is another story altogether, right? You know, you don't always get to pick your names like somebody else picks like your nickname. I think if you pick your nickname, you're an idiot, right? Who picks their own nicknames? That's not fair. You're not supposed to do that. You know, I think that's like breaking a law or something. So, check this thing out. That is a German Toro. Toro 470. We're going to get another look at it. All right? Isn't that cool? We'll get another look at it. Let's see. There's a couple other little shots I had here. Let's see. Before I play the video. I don't think I have a better look. I just took this quick. This is just like a view spread out a little bit more. So, I don't know if it's driven. I didn't look that deep. The deck is aluminum. There's some plastic on the top to cover a few things. I think there's a foot pedal, which you'll see. I didn't know what it was, but in the video, but I think it's a foot. It's like a foot operated button on the deck, and you push down on it, I guess, with your foot, and that's what adjusts all four wheels at once. It's a Briggs motor, right? That's the older Briggs motor, Quantum. I think it's about 20 inches wide, maybe. I don't think it's 21. I think it's pretty cool. So let me get ready for the next step. So I think that's kind of neat. You know, of course, that's common in Europe, something like that. They have these Mansfield and Hayter, H-Y-T-E-R. So shout out to Mix Mowers and the fellas over there. He's from the UK, so cool channel. And so he's always restoring all that stuff. But they have the same engines we have, basically. They just, whoever makes the bodies over there is just a different company. And the Hayter bodies are nice. They have some of these where they use rollers. One long roller for the back wheel. There's no individual wheels. And how I found Mix Channel years ago was those barrel mowers, right? The ones with the big auger thing in the front, like a snowblower, and it's got the blades and everything, and it spins. They still use those over there. And he bought like so many of them. He bought out some dude. He bought like all of the ones that are around there, and they're really nice. They come in different sizes. They cut, their grass is different. So he's like, I think in the southern part of the UK, and they almost never even get snow, even though they're higher up than I am. They're warmed by the Atlantic. And I guess it's a little bit more akin to like maybe like a Kentucky bluegrass or something. I got to ask him. It's definitely different. And it stays green for a really long time. It's a very tight nap or type of grass, very close together and short. They keep it real short. So these knives come over and they just trim like you're getting a haircut. They don't beat the grass and do all that with like our lawnmowers. Almost like the same kind of thing that you would do on like as a greenskeeper for the golf courses. They were the ones that were using them. It's a real mower, right? R-E-E-L. Really nice stuff. So let me close this out. We'll get to the next thing. Really nice stuff. That's how I found him. So he was restoring some older ones. I just want to cue up this next one. Before I get started. Hold on. Let me cue it up. You're not going to hear anything yet, so Mike stops by, and so what we're going to look at is, one is the German mower, And the other one is a 19, I think it's a 19.5 horsepower Briggs engine, boxer style, you know, opposed twin, on an old Craftsman. And we're going to see if we can get this thing running. Now, he was trying to sell this for like about $100. But it's one, it's the wrong time of year, and two, it's just not in nice enough. It's just not in nice enough shape for a $100 sale, even as a parts machine, right? It's just not. So I said, well, bring it over, and I'll eventually give you some money for it, and I'll figure out what I want to do with it. I mean, you know, he's been trying to clean up his property. Shout out to Mike. So, and he grabbed a couple other little machines, which we'll take a quick look at. So let's see. Let's set up. Take a look at that. It's a lot of fun. This stuff is, if you can get it cheap enough, I have a whole bunch of them now. So let's go to display capture. Desktop audio is on. And I'm going to kill my mic, and let's check it out. Mike is here. What's up, Mike?
Hi, John.
All right, we're going to see if we can get this thing to run. 19.5. Almost. Yeah, see the connection. If not, we'll put the... We'll take the battery out, the beat battery out. I'm just trying to jump it off of like a battery. It's close. All right, we'll go get...
Yeah, this cable's all fucked
Yeah,
up.
hold on. Nice wing nuts. Let's see, should I move over to the other side? Hold on, let me move the camera over to the other side. Where's the muffler? Yeah, this way you could be there. This way we see Mike working.
Ready?
Oh, hold on. Let me zoom it up a little bit. All right, ready? Oh no!
She died. You can jump her off the truck.
Do you have jumper cables?
No.
How bad are my jumper cables? They're like if we hold them on, it'll
You can
work.
rig it.
All right.
Rig it.
All right,
Get it off.
we're gonna jump it. All right, guys, check this out. So this is, I think it's a German Toro.
German.
470. Right? He says it
Right on the
ran.
back of it.
What's that? Anybody out there that can read German? See what that says? I'll get a better shot when ready. Look at this thing. What is this button for? How crazy is that? It's a Toro. It's aluminum deck with plastic top with a Briggs Quantum. And yeah, all right, cool. And we got some sorted sundries back there. Let's see what this one is. Everybody knows what this is, right?
Yeah.
With the Ready Start, good parts machine. And this is a nice old Craftsman. Occasionally I like to try to fix these whenever possible. Although the green paint's expensive. Yeah, it's very expensive, but always interesting. You never know, might be just parts. All right, let me unload. And then we're letting the battery charge on this thing because I put another battery in it, and as you saw, it turned over. So I'm putting a big charger on it, and we'll come back to it when we're ready. See you guys in a bit. All right, so you threw some juice down. Give it more, give it plenty. Yeah, that's it. Soup it up, soup it
I
up.
want to flood it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Ready?
It likes it.
She's a runner.
Yeah, there's definitely a mouse nest in there.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised we were in. Shut this off.
And charge the battery. Start it back up on its own.
Really? Like it! Alright, he drove it around, so it drives and everything. Broke the valve on the tire. But we have a good motor. I like these 19.5. Let me pull the battery out, put that cover on. So with this one, that one, the other one over there, and there's another one just like it back there that was earlier. So this sometime this summer or whatever, we'll figure out. It's definitely got a mouse nest in there. But they didn't damage it to the point where, you know, it's a problem. It started. And he's probably, if he's still in there, he's dead now. Or he's not happy. So we just got these real quick. So we got the German Toro, which is cool. This could potentially be a parts machine. We'll see. And these are always nice to have, these little parts machines. It's missing, you know, carburetor and everything, so that's parts. Probably this body's in nicer shape than this red one, so probably what'll happen is that motor, if it's any good, will go on that one, right? Because they're the same MTD, crappy new. And this is an older one. This one's pretty cool. There's probably some parts or something from there that we could use or something, and that's it. All right, I want to just look at one thing here real quick. I wanted to show you. Tina, come on, that's a stupid question. Of course not. You can never have enough mowers. I actually have a lot less now than I had, right? You think about it, right? Let me see. You can see a lot of mowers? I don't know if I have. I think I usually call it the garden. Yeah, I'll cue this up. Used to be the mower C, but hold on. This is just a short. That's the mower C. And that wasn't even a lot. There was even more than that, right? There's a lot hidden in another area, which is important. Let's go back. It's so weird. I'm keeping an hey John, and lubrication. See, the German sticker said only mow with impact protection or grass catchers before working on the cutting tools. Remove the spark plug connector. See instruction manual for maintenance. Awesome. Thanks, John. So now we know. So I wanted to put that back up. I think I just closed it out accidentally. Let me see here. Get you some of this. We'll get into that. Just to trash snowblower. We covered the Eastwood stuff. And yeah, I closed it out accidentally. Let me open it again. As I wanted to show this. Hold on. So if we look, yeah, that's it. So this is, that's the button right there. And I think you put your foot on that. And let me back up a little bit more. Yeah, you see the little arrow here, right? Black arrow, and the number is 543 on this aluminum adjusting rod. That, right, he says it ran, is probably attached under that rag is that button, black button. What's that? All right. Of course, that's the, there it is there. And I think you just put your foot down on that, and I don't know where the lock is, but it might be self-locking or something. But that's the adjuster for all 4 wheels. Which is pretty cool. So that's going to be fun. So Mike said he paid way too much. I won't say, but he paid way too much for it. When he first started doing all this stuff, and I guess he fell in love with it. And so what I want to do is sometime this summer, get it cleaned up, get it working really good, do the usual Arch special to it, and give it back to him. You know? John Boy, Francis. Yeah, you could use a couple of them for a project, sure. Where do you come from? You don't have to give us your address, but you know, about where, right? You know. So I got rid of a lot of them, but I have a lot more tractors now, which is cool. I also have that Craftsman with the rear wheel steering. All right. Now, I think the deck might be shot, but it might not be. The whole thing's a mess, but it's really not as bad as it looks. None of these are. They look worse than they are. Ah, Ontario. Canada in the house. Nice. Yeah, I like Canada. I watch a couple of guys from Canada do cars and stuff, and also lawnmowers, right? I started years ago watching Bruce, just years ago. He's just like one of the guys that, you know, I think we watch him as much as we watch he's a great mechanic, but I think some people, you just watch them as much as, you know, as what they're doing. I don't know what it is. It's like a magnetic thing, you know, personality-wise. So I started long before I even thought about doing this stuff. I always wanted to do something. I wasn't sure. I wanted to do cars, but I can't. I'm not healthy enough. And my shop's not really big enough for cars. If you really want to do the stuff that I used to do, you need... John's from Florida. Florida in the house. So we got both ends here. I'm in the middle, up towards the north. So we got John out there. What are you, John? John Clen's out in the, I think, the Midwest somewhere or something, right? Mid-South, something like that. Yeah, no. I know. We're going to get to to get you some of this in a little bit. I just wanted to cover a few things. So what was I just babbling about? I'm always babbling about something. I want to get to the PaintJucation stuff. So let me, because I want to get to that. Just kind of want to minimize that out of the way. It is strange we don't have any snow. And it's killing me because I've got these beautiful machines. I have the bougie, speaking of... Oh, before we do this, yeah, let me show you, right? the bougie machine. So I don't have a full video like all put together, but I will. Yeah, Mississippi. Missippi, right? Missippi. They used to make us sing that when we were kids. Anybody remember the song? Let me show you. We're gonna open up DaVinci. That's what I edit in. All right, so let's open up my editor. It's probably gonna crash the whole computer just trying to open. Let's see. Let's hope not. Let's see. I should turn my camera up a little bit. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, it's taking a while to open. It's like, ooh, you got a lot going on there, pal. All right, I'll bring you over to here. All right, since it's open, let me show you display capture. All right, so let's go poking around. So I wanted to talk about this. Now, once again, water, you know, a hosed down engine. Let's see, where is it? What did I do with it? It's probably right in front of me. Did I actually start doing it? Yeah, maybe I did it here. Yeah, this is it. Oh, hold on. Went over to my main monitor. So let's just poke through this. So these are the newer Briggs overhead valve engines, and I keep seeing the same problem. So let's see if you can see this and hear it. There should be desktop audio, and I'll blow it up in a minute. You know, like zoom in, full screen it. Yeah, this is my editing software. So this is DaVinci Resolve, by the way, for anybody out there that likes to do YouTube stuff and video. It's professional and very good. It does. A lot of guys are leaving Adobe products and coming to this because it is very good. You can use it for free, but it will defeat a few features until you buy it. And it's only like $300 to buy, and they update it constantly, even with the free version. So let me just run a check. All right, I got it. Yeah. So everything else I need. That should be audio. Let's go full screen. Yeah, that should work. Now, where do you see this? This common problem now, and it just kills these motors. So you can see the motor over on the left, and I think it's because that muffler is so high, the gooseneck comes down to the motor, and it's trapping water, and people need to cover these things. Let's go. Let's throw. Need to get done on this baby. All right, so give me a few minutes, and I'm going to set the camera up. Probably just leave it the way it is. She's going to puke, so I want to get some rags and clear the table. We'll get the, maybe, should I put the starter motor back on? Maybe that's a better thing, to spin it over with the starter motor. Maybe I'll service the starter motor quick. Put the starter motor back on. And always take it back off, right? That way we have it on there. We're going to need to spin this thing. This is the bougie, right? This thing's a piece of junk. Turning. It really is. It looks cool. It's going to puke water. And we're going to talk about this again. Do I know any Acevedos over your... So I'll put the starter motor back on. It's going to lubricate it. John, do you know what an Acevedo is? It's with oil, no greases or anything. I've showed this before. And that way I can plug it in, clear off the table, get the rags out. I want to also... I'm going to tilt this thing up a little bit. We're going to drain the oil just a little bit, right? Just to get out whatever water is in there, so we're not pulling that around as well. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes, all right? All right. So I took out my air vac, and I sucked out this much water out of the head, right, inside the combustion chamber. Fortunately, it's not really rusty, but that's a lot. I checked the oil. I dribbled out the oil. I didn't see any water come out. Usually it would come out first. Doesn't mean there isn't some in there, but I didn't see any. What I want to do now is I'm just going to spray a little bit of lube in here. into the... Oh, this hose is not working right. She's like coming out everywhere but the hose. Oh, no wonder why that cap is shot. All right, good. Now this thing was locked solid. Now I'm just going to grab the plug, absolutely locked and check the spark, but I'm going to go over the ignition anyway, and then I'm going to put some of my fluid in here. This is the tranny fluid mix because it's getting late and it's going to be sitting overnight. I'm going to go do the carburetor, and just kind of let that sit, do its thing, and then tomorrow we'll rinse it again. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, took this cap off. I'm going to check the valves. There's water in there. Not much, but we're going to... see the gook? We'll clean that out, blow it out, wipe it out, turn this thing over, check the valves, get all this gook. Ooh, what's that? Uh-oh. What was... Oh, my. That's not... That shouldn't be like that. Stuck valve, maybe? Yeah. All right. We got to get in there and check it out. All right, I'm not hopeful here, but let's just give it a whack. Yeah, she's... Oh, it popped. Oh, you see that? Scared me. Okay. I'm going to run some Drews down it, some kind of penetrant oil. And, well, we can't see. That's the exhaust, right? It may have damaged the valves. So I'm going to put, well, I already put stuff in there. And then I put the plug in at one point. And that, it kind of came out of here. That's one of the reasons why I kind of knew. And these were loose, too. The nuts were loose. So I'm going to put this back together, run some lubricant in it, and we'll adjust it, and then I'll do a compression test and see where we are. So I got so much Loctite on this little jam nut in there. We got to defeat it. That should do it. Sorry for the camera work. All right, leave it sit for a minute, and then we'll move it. I think you might be able to see some of that. Right, it's like brown mew. So we're gonna rinse it. We're gonna rinse this engine out with some used oil. It's getting late, so I just want to check this out. I got these set up. All right, we should be ready to go. I spun them over once. Let's just see what it does. Okay. We got some compression. I'll make sure nothing's gonna break. All right, so far it feels like it's okay. All right, let's see. You should be able to see something. I don't want you to have too much glare. There we go. Oh, whoa. Oh, that's water. Of course, I got hit. That's nasty. All right, we got to drain the oil out. I just managed to avoid it.
Yeah, it pissed all over the floor.
Let me pull the plug on the oil, and
it puked pretty good.
Puke everywhere, but we managed to get pressure.
It got compression
about
back.
150 pounds, still kind of holding. All right, and I'll check the valves again tomorrow. So that's it for tonight. Get the oil out of here, clean up a little bit. But we got pressure, so it'll work its way in. If we can get the machine, engine running, I think we'll be okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
The next morning.
All right, after letting it sit all night, there was no oil in this thing. There's that little bit that came out that I mentioned to you guys earlier.
Oh, there's oil in it.
And then a little bit of oil that splurged out there. See. And this, it took all night. As I was walking back and forth last night, I would notice every now and then it would come out. It's stuck up in this motor. So what I'm going to do, let me empty out this gook. We're going to spin this real quick. Because you notice, remember, a lot of stuff came out through here. So I'm going to put a rag over it, I'm going to spin it. And then I'll put the plug back in, I'll put it down. We'll put oil in it a little bit. We'll put some used oil, good used oil that I like to keep around. And we're going to put the cover back on. I don't know if I remember if I mentioned this, but the cover goes on, then the carburetor goes on. So if everything works out, at least we'll have that much done. We'll be a little further along. And again, last night I checked these, but Like I said, we'll spin it over a little bit, and then I'm going to recheck them because things are sticky and whatever. And let's see what happens, all right? In fact, I might even put a little bit more sauce in here. Spin it first, then put a little more sauce in there, put the plug in, you know, without this, and that'll force that sauce to kind of blow through the system a little bit more under pressure rather than just slopping around. Let's just give it a quick kick. I want to see if it's going to splooge. Is it going to splooge? You got to run it for a bit. A little bit. I see it coming out up here. You know what? Put that cap on. And then I think before we run it, actually run it engine-wise, maybe we want to put the oil in and watch it come out the top. See a little bit? All right, we're okay. All right, now I'm going to put the plug in. And this way, I'm forcing that transmission mix. It's transmission fluid and gas. The plug hole. It's really good for cleaning up and polishing up things after something like this. You got to get all that junk out. You want lubrication. Just to create that pressure. You know, that compression. Just, you know, by hand. Bunch of threads. Okay. He's coming out. Blowing towards the camera though. All right, let me cover the camera and I'll do a little bit more. But you could see it's helping. It's blowing out here, right? We'll do more in a bit. I'll put a little bit more in, and then I'll put the oil in. Like I said, I'll get this cover on, the carburetor on. Then we'll do this one more time. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And I'll clean the plug too a little bit too, because it's not bad actually. This plug is not bad. When she was running, I mean, it's not an old motor, but so far so good. Well, I don't know what's going on over here, but the oil does not want to come out of that tube. But I checked it over here and it just poured this brown muck out. So we're not able to get all the oil out. Let me try something different. Super thick. It won't come out the back. It's making a mess. I'll get out what I can, and I'm going to put some gasoline in it. Stir it up, and then try again. You guys see that in there? That port is not drilled. If it's drilled at all, it's a very small hole. It was not finished. So that's why that tube doesn't work. So what we need to do is put a plug in that. We're going to take this plug out, put it in there, and then we got to put... Well, we're going to have to put the drain tube over here, right? That's all there is to it. Right now, I'm at least starting to get some of the brown. There's a bit of junk at the bottom. I stirred it up a little bit, but... I didn't show the other water part. Or whatever. So I'm starting to get the brown out. This is what we just captured at the bottom, you know, what was spilling all over the place. Let me get rid of this stuff, clean up a little bit more. We'll get some used oil in. I got to put the cap on that. Right? Put a little lubricant up there, put the cap on it. We'll rig up the fuel. And we'll get this thing hot, and then we'll dump the oil. All right. I might want to show you. Let's see. Let's see if I can find. I do want to show you guys, you know, running this thing running, if at all possible, because I hate, you know, I don't want to do too much of a teaser. You know, you gotta have a little bit of finish to everything. So let me see the bougie. It's, what is the name of this thing? It is the Frontier. Yeah, all right. So it's going to be one of these. Did I capture it here? Yeah, I think I have one here. All right, let's check out at least we can watch it run. For a minute. Oh, some of this oil was so thick I couldn't get it out. Let's see, I think this might be the first startup. Alright, I got some two-stroke in here, just in that tube. Yeah, it's full. and we'll fill it again.
That's what I want to talk about, John. You see,
Let's see what's
you
gonna
look
smoke,
here,
so-
that
Oh, you know what? Hold
muffler
on, let me
sits up
close this
high,
door a little bit.
and there's a gooseneck tube that comes down and connects to the motor.
This way it doesn't all go in the shop. It's windy out.
Maybe the next video. All right, Francis, you're gonna miss the premiere. You're gonna miss it. You should
There we
stay a
go.
little bit longer. That muffler, it sits up so high, and that opening is so large. Thanks for stopping in,
Fuel
Francis.
there. Give it a little bit of choke.
I think people are leaving it out in the rain.
Not bad. Run.
Gonna let it run, let all that junk burn out. It cleaned up. Yeah, and that's what I think is happening. It's being left out. But it sounded good by the time I was done with it. Once all this junk burned off of it.
All right, let's let it run for a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's one more of it running. I think this one is where it cleans up.
All right, it ran out of fuel. I've been trying to fill it and keep it going. See if it likes that.
Okay. And it's running good. I think I measured it 3,600. Yeah, it's perfect. It's going to need a transmission though at some point.
3,600.
There's a lot of slop in it. It's not built well. Not built terribly, but it's not built well. They cleaned up good.
I'd like to drill out the carburetor.
Yeah, it needed to have the carb drilled a little bit.
Yeah, with the choke on it, barely does.
Yeah, and it won't idle. It's not really set up to idle. The last one I did had no idle. Same motor.
Yeah, with the choke on it, barely does. See? Needs more fuel.
It doesn't even have
Might
like
need a carburetor.
a detent for idle. All right, let's
Might need a carburetor. But we'll adjust it. We'll clean it again. Let's use my last little bit of
all right.
fuel here.
So what I think is happening is because that hole is so large that a good storm, like we've had some good storms like that recently. Let me put a little light on. What I'll do is I'll just go to a white page and that'll put a little light on my face. I could amp up the camera a little bit more, but I like it dark in here because I'm tired. So I think what's happening is people are leaving these outside. What's up, Brett? Welcome. Brett, check out Brett's channel. Brett, if you can, leave a link. Any of you guys, you know, pop a link in the text, and if it doesn't come through, let me know. I'll pop it in. I don't know, you know, if you have permission to do that or whatever. I don't see why not. I mean, I haven't changed anything, but you know, what the hell do I know? Just let me know. Check out Brett's channel and anybody else. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But yeah, the answer to that question, and I talked a little bit about this on the last one, because the video I just did, same basic engine, same engine on the one I just painted. The rest of that video series will be out at some point. But it had water in it, and I did. I built one of these engines from two. One of them was completely destroyed. I took the two engines, took everything apart, cleaned it up. That's out on the channel as well. Went over them. Roger that, Clint. And I keep seeing this with these engines, and I think it's because that muffler is up really high. It's got a really big hole. People are leaving them outside. They're not covering them. You know, if you think about the standard scenario, right? It's a big engine. It's a big machine, 24-inch, 27-inch. 24 and 27 are the most common sizes, 27, 28. It's a big machine. And people probably don't know what to do with them. And here on Long Island, of course, okay, so this is Long Island, New York. So that's important because, you know, I can't speak to what, you know, this is what I see. This is what's coming in. And the weather here on Long Island, it has not snowed. It dusted at the very beginning of the year. Around Christmas, it was like 20 degrees or less. It's been warm, so to speak, 40s, right? Raining a lot. When we get these snows, we'll get a lot of snow, and then it might rain before it snows, might rain after it snows. We'll get a nice day. We could have, like in February, a couple of weeks of just absolute frigid weather. And I think what happens is that people get overwhelmed. They don't get a lot of snow, so they're not getting used a lot. The machine at some point kind of gets abandoned outside right after the winter. Like, this is partly a wet season. It could be rain, it could be snow. Wet season lasts for quite some time here in New York, right? Starts fall, right, for us, which is, I don't know, September is still growing season. It's the end of the growing season. October, it gets a little darker. It can get a little wet. You'll get some rain to sort of freshen you up from the drought of August. November, December can be very wet all the way through. And I think the last snow, right, after January-ish, February-ish, you know, certainly February, March is rainy. It'll start raining right away after the last snow. It'll freeze for a little while, and, you know, half a month or so. And I think they just get abandoned. It's like they don't want to be bothered, and they're waiting for spring, and nobody thinks to put the thing away, right? They just drag it. Maybe they drag it and they throw it in a shed. Maybe they cover it, but they don't think to run the engine, run the fuel out. If they were to do that, then it wouldn't suffer this problem. But I don't think they're doing that. And then they leave it all spring and summer and summer, fall, and then they go to use it, and it's like this. They're a mess. And God help you if the water gets in there and it freezes, right? Which is probably what happened to this thing. Let's see what Shop Talk says. Just fixed a Troy-built Storm 2410. I can't see. I need my glasses. It was like brand new. Maybe 30 minutes of run time on it. But it had sat for 2 years with fuel, so you know what that did. Yeah, it wrecked the carburetor and just messed everything up. Just a mess. So that's what I think is happening to these engines on these machines. They're nice engines, but to figure out, you know, it's a big muffler, so it's pretty quiet. You know, 3,600 RPMs, that was not loud. You know, it sounded like a real machine running, but it was not particularly loud. It's a nice size muffler, but that gooseneck comes up, it snakes around, and the two scenarios would be water is definitely coming in. It fills up the muffler about half the way if the valve is closed. So it fills that whole tube. The tube's about that long. It's like an S curve, bit of a comes up and over, sits in the muffler, fills up the tube, sits behind the valve, messes up the valve stem, messes up the valve. That's one scenario. The other scenario is the valve is open. Wherever that piston is, if you're lucky, the piston might be at the top. It'll fill the combustion chamber, which is what this one did, right? See all the water that I pulled out of that with the suction tool? It was about this much water or so, about 3/4 of an inch. Thanks, Brad. Shout out to Brad Zellinger. And if the piston's down in a hole, which happened to this when I did the motor series on making 2 from 1, that's what happened. The piston was down in the hole, and the whole column of the cylinder filled up with water, rotted all the way up to the top, up through the head, up through the exhaust valve, into the muffler, even rotted the muffler. So, but that engine had tins on it that the other engine that I was working on didn't have. So stuff got taken apart and fooled around with. And Mikey gave me those motors like years ago. What's up, Mike? So, yeah, I want to start on the next the last video of the evening, which is the premiere. You know, this is just a short. So let me set that up. But this is important. This doesn't happen to the same way to the other engines, like the older Briggs or the older. Let's see what Brett says. Look, the older Takumis. I don't see it. I don't see it on the old. He says, after I drained the tank, it was clean as a whistle, but the carb needed a good cleaning. Plus, it was overfull of oil and needed a plug. It's for sale, right? Nice. Nice. So I was putting oil in this thing. It needed some oil, but turns out it didn't need all that much. I was concerned. I thought it had no oil in it. In this bougie, green bougie with the Briggs engine. And it was that the bore on the bottom of the block is not fully drilled. Some water had leaked out of it, but no oil. Just a tiny little bit came out. And I thought, uh-oh, that's not good. You know, because it is a nice engine. So after fooling around with it, I got oil and water locked into the motor, and to try to suck it out took forever because it was like mayonnaise. It was a colloid. So I finally got it all out after making a mess, and I put some good used oil in it. I swapped the drain plug and the drain tube, and I ran it up like you guys just saw, and then I drained the oil and I put real oil in it. And to remove the oil, you have to take that tire off. Or you can put an extension tube on. I have one of those, and just to get you over the tire. There's nothing else I can. I'm not going to put a drill in there. I don't want to put any metal in the motor. There's no point. That's good, Brett. You got that sorted. Yeah, these things are nice. They're not hard to go over. You know, I go over the transmission and everything. This thing doesn't need any paint, but it will need a transmission. There's a lot of play. I didn't show that, but if you take the auger and you go back and forth, you can go quite a ways before you take up the play. And there's really nothing I can do. This time of year, I'll be lucky if I sell these beautiful machines. I have the other one for sale. I think I lowered it down to like 400, 450. I should be able to get 600. But if it doesn't snow, it's not going to sell. Right? 2 reasons, right? The typical reason is, well, right now, everybody's having issues with cash because of inflation and, you know, the politicians screwing with everybody. It's got everybody upset. Everybody broke or broker. They don't have the money. So that's one reason. And because that thinking is somewhere in the back of their head, there's the Long Island mentality, which is it doesn't always snow here. Some years we really don't get any snow. Some years we get a little bit of snow. Right now we're getting a lot of rain. And then, you know, sometimes we get a lot. We get pounded with these nor'easters. It can still happen, but the Long Island mentality is it's expensive to live here. I'm not going to buy one unless I think it's going to snow. I don't think it's going to snow. None of the reports have been saying snow. If I can get away with it until next year, I'm not going to buy one now. I'm not really sure. I don't really have the money. Where am I going to put it? Right? This is, you know, whereas in other parts of the world, right? Or the country, it snows. I mean, it's pretty damn, you know, you can, like the summer will be hot, the winter will have snow. And you know, going into that, having to deal with it every year, whether it's a heavy year or a light year, you know, and you're like, I need a snowblower. Oh, look, Arch has one for sale. He does a nice job. Let me see if I can get one of those. Maybe I can talk him down a little bit. You can do that. Here, no. You know, they're just going to wait. They're going to sit on it. So I want to see if I can sell it on something else just to get rid of it, because now I got to sit on it and then I don't have any money. So I got like 2 machines now. I'll have a third soon, and I'll have a little flapper, like a 2-stroke flapper machine, like a snow broom, snapper, snow broom, power broom. Those things are useless. You know, but for some people they work good. They just have like a short driveway and they want to do a walkway and they just want to blap at the snow, and it works, you know. All right, so what else was I babbling about? All right, so before I get into the last thing of the evening, let me go get my paint. Hold on. So I promised I would talk a little bit about paint because I was asked, and I have a video. I don't know, did I release it yet? I don't think so. It's another PaintJucation where I sit down. This is why I wanted the other camera working, but I don't have enough equipment for it. I have the other camera, okay, but I don't have another mic, and I would need to set up my other light, and because I broke that thing earlier and it took me time to set all that up and fix it, I was like, you know what, just the heck with it. That's for another day. So we have paint, okay? Show us the paint, Arch. So for the PaintJucation, that was the last one I just released, video I just released. I didn't talk a lot about the paint. All right. Now, I don't have any rusty metal primer here because the cans died and I got to order more. But rusty metal primer, Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer is your standby. If you have a little bit of rust and you don't want to get it all off and you want a decent paint, brush it on, spray it on with a spray can or spray it on with your cheap spray gun. I used that on the one that I just did. And you see it. It's that brown paint on there. And I think I brushed that on. It was too cold. I couldn't open the windows. It's like 20 degrees out. And I was like, I'll just sit here and relax and brush it on. Nothing wrong with that. It didn't leave any brush strokes. I thinned it out a little bit. And if you thin it out, it goes further. It goes on easier. And it doesn't leave brush strokes. And you're going to be putting a top coat on. So you don't really need it all that thick. It's just to get you to stick. Right? None of these paints, like this paint here, Rust-Oleum Farm and Implement, any of the implement paints from Rust-Oleum. This happens to be, what is this, International Harvester. I think what I put on that snowblower was Massey Ferguson. This is a little different color. I think it's a little bit lighter than the Massey. So, and I talk about that. I don't think I released this video on PaintJucation where I lay out all these paints and I start talking about them and showing them to you. That's the one you really got to watch because you really kind of want to know this stuff. It'll save you a lot of time. So all of the implement paints are a different formulation. They're just set up to be a little bit more durable. They are a little bit more expensive. They are a little bit more durable, especially after about 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, maybe a month. They won't really react with like gasoline and oils, right? It takes them a long time to dry. If I spray this on a machine and I stop spraying at about 4 o'clock, clean up, maybe leave the shop or, finish up at about 6, I'll be able to work the machine the next day. The next morning. It's still going to be soft. You still don't want to get gas on it. You don't want to mess with it, but it'll be dry enough and I can work with it. You can't put this on anything that is not primed. It won't stick. It will run, right? It just won't stick. It has to be on a primed surface. It is more durable. It is a little bit more expensive. The colors are closer to what you would see on any of these machines. They offer a couple of different colors. Like I said, the Massey Ferguson, International Harvester, and there's probably maybe one more. But they have pretty much every color for every type of machine that you would want to use. Right, that you might have. As far as paint, primer, I already covered the rusty metal primer. And then the other couple of options, again, you can get these in different colors. So this is sandable primer. That's Rust-Oleum. And it's a primer that you can sand. You want to get it on either bare metal or you could even put it on top of rusty metal primer. It is sandable, meaning that you can build up coats and sand it with, 240, 180, 100, something like that. It will cover some sins. And in some of my PaintJucations, I talk about using the Nitristan or a putty, right, which is just really like a thick paint. And this is Duplicolor's primer filler. Sandable, but it's a filler. So it goes on really thick. You let it dry, and it will cover over a lot of sins. Takes a little while to dry. Again, you could put this on top of another primer. So if you want to blend and hide, you can load this on, right, on top of like another sandable, and maybe put this down first, right? Maybe a little spot putty. This covers over a world of hurt, and then you paint on top. And you could just put this on regular metal, like steel. Another nice thing about this is that for all the red mowers or red machines out there, you can blend, right? And I show some of that in my videos, where this goes on first, then I'll blend this on. I don't spray the entire machine with either of these. I blend, right? I blend, I fade. I can get like 5, 6, 7 machines, 10 machines out of a can, right? Because it doesn't need it. It's a lawnmower. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You just make it nice, and the people go, oh, look, wow, that's nice. Now, we'll get to the clear later, but hold that thought. Now, I've also been using the Color Max Krylon paint and primer, right? This will kind of go on bare steel. It definitely will. This is gloss. I don't like gloss. Right? I don't know why I picked up gloss, but satin or Satan black, right? Get that. Gloss is, I don't make anything glossy because it's an older machine. I'm not making these beautiful things and works of art. For high heat mufflers, this stuff works great. Lasts like a couple of years. It won't be shiny and bright like when you first sprayed it on, but you don't want that anyway. You want to make it look aged. And once it cooks in, it dries fast too. And it's also silver in case you want to coat something that might be chrome or silver or some of the tins or even on the engine itself, right? You want to spruce it up. Maybe it's a little oxidized and you want to make it a little bit nicer. Use this. And once it sort of cooks in, if you can heat it slowly, it's even better. Like if you just like light up the engine and let it run and burn it in, that's actually not as good. Like Mobil 1. I don't have a favorite small engine oil, actually. I actually don't. It doesn't really matter to me. My favorite engine oil is the oil, if for your own stuff, it's the oil that you don't leave in. Small engines, air-cooled, burn up oil. The dirt, they live 2 feet above the ground. Dirt finds its way in. It's, the oil is under a lot of stress, potential dirt. And there's some guy argued with me the other day. I think it was he said some nasty stuff on my best damn mower on the planet video or something like that for like my Honda. And I was like, he's like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a tinker. I should actually read that because it made me laugh. He's a tinker. Yes, I am a tinkerer. I love to tinker. And I said that the oil is part of the cooling system. No, it's not. Oh, no? Well, how do you think the heat gets transferred? It's the transfer medium to the block, right? And helps it to cool and get rid of it. The cap, especially on a Honda, the cap over the... so the fan is on top of the flywheel. That blows, and then the cap over the Honda takes that air, sucks it in from the top, and then blows it under the cap, and then bathes the engine in, air. Now, the cooling fins on the front, they don't see oil, so that has to cool directly to air. But the engine itself has got oil all around the back end of the combustion chamber, all around the cylinder for the most part, all up inside. And it gets hot, and it helps to cool the engine down. It transfers and balances the heat so you don't have hot spots. It's not just for lubrication. So it gets very hot, and it gets beat up. And the best thing you can do is get rid of it and just put some fresh oil in. And for like a snowblower, use a thinner oil, like a 5W something. Guys used to like to use straight 30 weight oils. A lot of people don't like any detergent packages or whatever. I think if it's an older engine and if you want to use a straight oil, when the engine gets older, if it's been neglected, maybe you bought it from somebody, use a detergent package. Maybe use a semi-synthetic oil. And then if you want to go to like a synthetic straight weight, that would be your best bet. You could also put in some additives like Lucas additives or whatever. Because there's dirt. There's going to be dirt in there. So at some point you want to get the dirt out, you're going to want a detergent. But change it. You know, and most of these engines don't even have oil filters. So for the bigger motors, right? So let's say, for example, you don't use your tractor, your small tractor, and you don't use it in the winter. Okay. Well, you got your filter. Put a new filter in every year and put a semi-synthetic in with a detergent package if it's getting older. And if you can get that oil out frequently, then maybe you can go to a straight oil. But you can also look up at what the manufacturer recommends. Of course, they're going to recommend, Briggs has its own oil. You know, look into it, but any good semi-synthetic oil would work. And the cheaper the synthetic, the less synthetic is going to be in it. But they generally work pretty well. I don't think I did anything on oil, but I think I might actually talk a little bit about oil on a separate video, or maybe we'll do it on a live stream, because there's like 3 classifications of oil feeder stock. Class 1, 2, and 3. And I forget which way they go now. So off the top of my head, if I start talking about it, I'm not going to be accurate. But one of them is a very high quality feeder stock. Yeah, see, 10W30, which is your most common oil because it seems to be the oil that fits most situations for most engine designs, and it does a really, really good job. Branded, yeah, by Valvoline is good stuff. I use Valvoline. And sometimes I get it really cheap. I get this one oil, I get it from Amazon, but it takes me like 2 weeks to get. It used to be $17 for a gallon, and it went up to like 19 or 20. But I've had very good luck with it. It's a very standard oil. Let me just see if I can see it up here. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. I'm pretty sure it's Valvoline. While we're on the subject, I'll get it down. All right, now one of them. So the cheaper oil, since you asked, so the Pennzoil, this is the Pennzoil 1030. And should finish what I was saying first, but you know, it happens with Arch, right? I get distracted. It's like squirrel. Where? Right? It's like my dog. Well, actually, he doesn't even react to anything anymore. He's so old, you know, unless it's food. But this is cheap oil. Pennzoil. Somebody peed oil, right? This takes me like 2 weeks to get because it's like the cheapest. It's not Amazon Basics oil, but it's like a notch up from that. And because I don't know why, they just don't like selling it because it's good, cheap oil, and they just hate you for buying it. You know, they're like, yeah, you can have it cheap, you know, decent oil, but you gotta wait. Now, for something a little bit better, which is more money, is the Valvoline. Oh, I get $5 back. This is the high mileage. It's a synthetic blend. And honestly, for a lot of it, you know, because it's got a package in it, a detergent package, that's designed for motors that are a little bit more worn and motors with more junk potentially in the oil, right? And in the engine itself. This is more money. It is a better oil, I think, for a lot of the stuff that we're using, and we're getting, you know, things are getting older. And let's see, Brad says, thanks, Arch. I'm an oil change fanatic, and mine goes away long before. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So change it more often, and you won't even have to think about it. Now, if you get into full synthetic, and if you don't burn oil. Now, like my SunStar is a drinker. It doesn't matter what I put in there. I've put sulfur in there. I put like gear lube in there in the summertime because I've only had it for a few years and I know it burns. Actually, I put a little bit too much in recently. Excuse me. It's the food my daughter gave me. So that one I've been putting some different stuff in and trying a few things. It does like a thicker oil. It beats up oil because it's burning it. So that means that, so if you're burning oil, it's not just that you're using it, it's also that the combustion gases are winding up inside the engine. Now this thing doesn't have any appreciable blow by, but if oil's going in one direction and being burned, then there's definitely going to be some of those combustion gases that are getting into the oil and it's destroying the oil. So if you want something that's a little bit thicker, if it's a warm use, then go to like 1040 or add an additive in. Like I use Lucas's oil additive in that. But the oil doesn't stay very long because it gets used. So I'm topping it off with fresh oil. The filter, there's a filter, it's a pressurized oil system. The filter takes up a lot of the junk. Throw that out, you know. And if it gets down too low, then at that point, I just empty whatever's in there and I just put fresh oil in. And like now, I just did that. I didn't change the filter. I just put fresh oil in. But I put too much and I got to dump it. And you're going to see it's going to blow a little bit of smoke. You're going to see it in a few minutes. I got to get in there before it snows because that's going to raise the inside pressures of the engine, and I need to even it out. So let's see. What's your favorite two-stroke oil? That you know, for still, a lot of people will want to stay with the still. Here's the thing, the stills for the guy, I'm not like totally into that, so I don't like two strokes. But the guys that are, I hear them say things like, some people don't like the still oil. The still engines, even on the still oil, have been burning up. That's a whole nother thing. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to comment on that because I've watched some shows on that where guys have, you know, put forth some good evidence as to why they think the oil that is recommended isn't really a good oil. And then they've gone to great lengths to find out what's in these oils to compare them against other manufacturers. So I'm not the guy to talk about that. Now, I do have some two-stroke machines, and I add all kinds of stuff into those oils. Like I add extra stuff in. They tend to run a little bit thick, and because occasionally I do two-stroke repairs, and I like it a little bit wetter with a little bit more oil because I tend to be restoring these machines that are a little bit beat up, and I like the first start to be something a little bit oily and, you know, but, and the other side of it is you want a premium fuel. You want some kind of additive in the fuel to keep the fuel from going bad. And then lastly, a lot of people are getting away from gasoline and going to premix fuel. So, Dale's here. Hey, Dale. All right, so we covered oil, and the last thing before we go to the video, and again, fellas, don't forget, SuperClean. To enter to win sometime in February, you got to be in a lower 48. Email me. The email is in the description of this video. And in the subject line, hey Arch, I want to enter SuperClean. Leave me your P.O. box or address, your handle, in other words, whatever your name is on YouTube, and of course your whatever address and your real name, whichever address you want to use, the one that you can actually get the product. And then I'll put everybody's name in the hat and we'll do a drawing. All right, last couple of things on PaintJucation is standard stuff. Rust-Oleum, either the quick dry, which I like because I'm impatient. I also use the other paint as well, the regular black, not gloss, Satan, or semi-gloss. I like this because it's quick dry. The regular dry paint takes longer, but it is a better paint. It's a different formula. And then the last thing is, really is a good engine enamel type of clear. And all my machines get something like this, or they get an automotive two-part with a hardener in it. I like this because it's quick and it's easy, and this is not particularly expensive, and you really want the engine enamel. It's good for 500 degrees. If you want to spend a little bit more money for your own stuff, get the ceramic, right? It's more money, but it's a better product. And you can blend. You can blend the paint. That's another discussion, because if you don't do it at the right time, you can have an interaction, but, you know, like a weird reaction in the paint. But the plastics, right? Because what happens to plastic? It oxidizes. And some of the oils, so-called, in the plastic come out, the vehicles, and the plastic dries and it breaks and it gets white. And this makes all that go away. All right, hold on. I need to make myself some room now. Hold on. Let me put some of this stuff away and we'll get to the, because I can't see my command module. I'm just going to shove it over here. Because I broke that part on my mic stand before the show, I was running around like a nut trying to find a little screw, and I'm like, is this metric? Is it standard? And I ripped apart all these boxes, and all this crap's out in the shot. It's just this crap everywhere. Shut up, Arch! Get to the next video. Nobody cares. All right, fellas, I'm getting there. Just give me a minute, all right? Super clean. Super clean! I'm getting there. Stop complaining. Oh, wait. One last thing, fellas. Wait. Don't go away. Wait. No. Flat out. Now, this is all products I buy, right? None of this is the stuff that I get from people, except for SuperClean. But this is all products I'm working on. Oh, I gotta pull up my pants. Things are falling down. I'm getting old. It's getting late. This is like almost past my bedtime. All right. This is the last thing before we go to ye video. All right, hold on. We got this oil here. You guys got everything out today. Got me tearing my whole shot. I need like a wireless mic. Yeah. Hey, Brett. Love from Omaha. Next stop. So, flat out, fellers, right? Let me get my glasses on. So, again, this is stuff I use that I pay for. So I'm not hawking it because somebody gave me some kind of load of stuff. So this one I just got back in. This is the regular formula. Let's see, where do they say it? It's got Kevlar in it. Yeah, this is their regular formula. Right now it's in this bag, which is kind of cool because you can squeeze it in. And so this formula is like for general purpose. So I'll just talk a little bit, just real quick about the differences. And this is their Sportsman formula. See, it says Sportsman. Look, see? Look. See? What's the difference? What I'm finding after testing for like a year, and I really should do a video on this, so you guys are getting a treat. You gotta wait! Yeah, Christine and I always say that. Hey, you gotta wait! No, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. So, what I'm seeing is the Sportsman formula. I first tried, like 2 years ago, I tried this formula, which is their regular formula. And so, what are they calling it? They're calling it for, they're like showing cars, tires, trailers, small tires, light duty, bicycles, and this is more like ATVs and things like that. All right. So let's just hit that real quick. Starting off with the one in the bottle for more like ATVs. Why is this better, right? This is better for punctures and tears. If you're got your ATV or your dirt bike out on a trail and you run over a stick or hit like a sharp rock or something like that, or a broken bottle, and it punctures a big hole, tears something in the sidewall, and you just don't feel like putting another tire on it. Maybe you got a tire, but you just like, you know what? Let's just pour this in. I got some of this too. There's a good chance it'll stop that up. And you're probably only going to leave it in there until you get back to your shop or your house or whatever, and you have a chance to, you know, rip that tire off, replace it, or put a tube in or something like that. That's really where this product shines. Now, sometime last year, I had an older Jacobson tractor, a little rider tractor, and one year I put, the tires were getting a little dry rotted, and the sidewall was getting abraded, and I put some air in it, topped it off, didn't go too much, and I remember, I think I went to go pull it out of the shed, and it let go. I heard it pop, like, I thought the tire was over, right? I was like, oh, I really don't feel like putting tires on this thing. I want to sell it. I put this in. And I drove it around, and the following year, it still had air in the tire, right? It just needed to top it off. That's what this does. But that's kind of rare for me. That's not, generally I'll put a tube in or I'll just replace the tire. What happens to me is the wheelbarrow the tire will get a little old. It won't sit on the rim right. One of these tractors, the tire will get a little old. You get a little weepy. The beads just never seem to sit right. No matter what you do, you take the tire off, you clean everything. You could put like a bead sealant on. That's another story, right? Smaller holes, weepy tires, getting a bit beat, bead issues, and some punctures. The regular version. So, just to help you guys out, I thought that would be pretty cool. I did want to talk about it and sort of get it out of the way. So I have 2 tires to do like tomorrow or something on that red snowblower I just finished. I didn't put this one up yet. This one I didn't put up yet. Tires are mint. Rims in beautiful shape. There's no rust. There's nothing wrong with the tires. One tire was off the bead when I got the machine, and the other tire was getting low. I got it reseated. I cleaned the bead to check the bead, even with a paper towel. I got nothing. Put it all back together. Got the bead to reseat, and they're both leaking. Okay, so in the bag goes. I'm gonna put some of this in. And I'll let you guys know, but the thing is that when you put that stuff in, you need to drive the thing around for a while and let it, muse around and get all in the different nooks and crannies, and then it'll seat up. Worst case is I'll pull the tires off, I'll put this stuff in, and I'll throw the tires around the shop for a little while and just twist them around and torque them around a little bit and spin them up, and then, I'll stick them on and see what happens. So, see if we can cover anything else. So I think that covers it. Now let's get to the cool part. Actually, to me, all of this stuff is cool. Let's see. So playing around with the tractor. Tractor! That's what my daughter hears, right? Whenever I tell her, she gets mad, I think, because she gets jealous because she says Mikey's the son I never had. Yeah, Mike, you're like my son, the son that I never had. My daughter gets upset. She's like, that's the son you always wanted. And I'm like, but I love my daughter. I wouldn't trade her for anything. But what she hears when I start talking about this stuff, this is what she hears, like what my dog hears, right? He hears blah, 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 frisbee, blah, 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 food, blah, 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 walk. Well, she hears blah, 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 tractor. So, Simplicity SunStar, get you some of this. Let's get rolling, right? Stand by. Do I have this thing set up? Yeah, here it is. Let's see if I get it right. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. That's not it. Oh, maybe it is it. Yeah, hold on. I gotta get the audio to come through. Let me see. Label videos. I have to get it right. Now, where does the audio come from? Is it desktop audio? Let's see. Haven't done this in a while. Let me transition it. I should be able to hear it. I'm not hearing it though. Yeah. Why am I not hearing it? Yeah, I'll play it this way. Hold on. I'll play it this way then. Yeah, I know. I don't hear the audio coming from it, so I'm going to play it the other way. I don't know why that is. I did update the software, so yeah, this will work. All right, fellas. All right, hold on. So there's always some setting that you need to tweak. I think it's Play-Doh videos, display capture. Yeah, that's it. That's it. There it comes. All right, fellas, get you some of this. Right? Check these babies out. Okay? Come on, you bastards. Let the snow begin. Yeah, I'm ready. We just gotta put gas in this one. E26. Alright, bring it. Liz and I came up with an acronym, right? SNAVs, or SAVs. SAV. Snow Assault Vehicles. You should be able to hear it. Let it snow, you bastards! Right, because we're like in the middle of January now, and all we had was this. Isn't that sad? Right? It's good. It's good. It's good. I'm happy, right? Because I haven't had to deal with snow and haven't really. Well, I've been ready with the 826, but I'm pretty happy so far. Thing came out really good. There's still a lot more to do. What can I say? Right? You can't make everything perfect, fellas, and hopefully this inspires you to go out there and get you some of this. Oh, telephone! Is that money calling? All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. That's pretty cool. Brad says, very nice. If you see a Gilson, am I saying this right? Snowblower, grab it. What's a Gilson snowblower? Should we look that up? Gilson. Let's see. I want to see what that looks like. Let's see. Now, you should have been able to hear that. Gilson snowblower. All right, let's see. Here's one, Gilson. Let's see if they show it to us. 8 horsepower. Well, they got a nice big Briggs. Looks a lot like my, let's see, a little bit like my Toro. Yeah, it looks a lot like the Toro. Well, that's nice. You guys seeing this? Yeah, you should be able to see it. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I have never seen one of these, but I definitely... This is not a bad price either. It says they were real popular in Michigan in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, Montgomery Ward. Yeah, I remember that. Let's see. Videos. Basic operation. Let's see his basic operation.
This is the Gilson snowblower. We're just going to go through starting it and running it. This is where we turn it off and on. So to start it, we need it in the on position. This is the
That sounds British.
5 speeds, neutral, reverse. This is the discharge chute, so you can turn that.
Oh, very nice.
Right. This is for the traction drive. You hold this down, it will drive it forward. You hold this one down, this is the auger drive, and this will make the auger spin in the front and start throwing snow.
Got a nice Briggs 8. That's what I have on my Toro.
The primer bulb. So press this a couple of times just to prime. Lift this up just a little. That's all the way. So about halfway for starting. Make sure the choke is down, set to 1, and as soon as you start the engine, you have to switch this off all the way back up here as soon as you start the engine. So we'll leave it there because we're going to start. So we're primed. You have the throttle set to around halfway, and this is the starting handle. You have to give it a good yank and it should start. Turn the throttle all the way off and it will usually stall out. And don't forget to switch the key off, and obviously you can switch the key off if
it needs to be tuned.
Stall out on the speed control. The reason it didn't start very well then was because it was already warm and I used the choke. So if it's warm, you probably don't need the choke, but if it's cold, you definitely will.
That's cool. That is cool. Ooh, look at this thing. Rubbish at Tanks song dedicated to all those terrible tankers. No, we're not going to watch that. All right, that's cool. Get back to me. Nice. And I can just like kick back and chill out, right? That's what's kind of cool about this area back here. I'm like hiding back here in my little cubby. I can just watch videos and do a little bit of editing and stuff. So yeah, that I'll have those videos out on the Simplicity SunStar, setting up. The first part is setting it up, getting things ready, going over a few things. And again, shout out to Zippo Varga, Small Engine Medic. Check out his channel. Pretty cool. So he's been helping me out with that. That's nice. So she needs work, but I've got enough of it together now. You see, you know, it's working. It's ready to go. We have some things to do to it before it's like really done. It's a long way off from being done. But if it snows and I get a big snowstorm, I'm ready to go. With those two machines, it shouldn't be a problem. We do occasionally get some really big nor'easters and some serious storms with ice and slush and freezing rain and tons of snow and curb cuts that are plowed where you get plowed in. So I'm kind of like ready for that. I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I hope we do get snow. I would like to try it out. And I'd also like to sell my snow blowers. So that was fun. So you're going to see part one soon where we kind of go over everything, check stuff out. There's a whole bunch of stuff I had to do to it. And then the setup for the actual snowblower itself. Which it's really a snow thrower, right? It really isn't a snow blower. You know, it's like a mountain mover. That thing is aggressive. It's huge. And it's all shaft driven with the PTO, right? Electric PTO. I mean, eventually I'm going to want to get some new tires. I just want to check on this here. Yeah, I wonder how... I don't think I'm as behind as I think. Let me refresh this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm definitely not as far behind as I thought. I could see me over here. I could see me here, and I just refreshed over here. Yeah, this is way more in tune. And now this one's a little bit behind. Let me refresh this one. Yeah, now that's better. Okay. That's coming up. Yeah, they get out of sync. And then I wind up watching something that's so far behind. And I'm not really sure how far off I am to anybody that's chatting, but it looks like it's not too bad. But yeah, so I think that's it for tonight. I had fun. Thanks everybody for coming and checking out what's going on over here at Archer's Garage. It's you know, it's the depths of winter, so there's not as much stuff going on, and people aren't really thinking about this stuff. But you know, we're gonna be into spring real soon, fellas. So let me see if I can get my outro correct. Oh yeah, there's the outro. But again, thanks everybody for coming. Shout out to everybody that's been liking and subscribing and commenting. And don't forget the SuperClean challenge. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Mm-hmm.